Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, my Western Conference Semifinals preview will go through your final four teams, how they got there, and then, of course, with the losers, I'll break down what's next for them. Also, LeBron James, he talks to Dave McMenamin throughout the season. I want to cover that because I think it's important to talk about this. And then also, Draymond Green, once again, running off at the mouth, throwing his coach, Steve Kerr, under the bus. So, all that and more. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, guys, it's your boy GD back with the All Things Basketball with GD podcast. And, guys, we are in the midst of playoffs. You know what it is. It's going down. We had game sevens, mostly in the Eastern Conference, to be honest with you. But it's been pretty exciting for the most part. Kind of chalk almost in the West, except for one case. So anyhow, we'll get into all that and more. So let's do it. Let's do it, guys. So we're going to talk about the matchup. The number one seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder, taking on the fourth seed in the Los Angeles Lakers. Remember, guys, everybody had written them off when they saw they were being matched up against the Houston Rockets. That wasn't the case. So you have this matchup between them. And guys, we will talk about how Oklahoma City got here, and they just trounced the number 8 seed, the Phoenix Suns, 4-0, taking 2 on their home court first, and then going to Phoenix and just taking their lunch money, if you will. And of course, your catalyst throughout the whole thing, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He led them in scoring all four games, guys. Led them in scoring and was just the absolute MVP that he is. And also, you had good showing from Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams as well. But as far as that goes, Jalen Williams, he did suffer an injury in this series, guys. So, and that happened, I believe, in the third game of this series. So, not good when you think about it, because they're going to need him in this next series. You're going to have to slow down LeBron. I understand you have a Lou Dort there, but you're going to need a Jalen Williams as well, guys. So, Oklahoma City makes quick work of the Phoenix Suns. So much so, he ends up trolling Dylan Brooks on the way out. You know, Dylan Brooks, he's cut differently, guys. But he actually had a pretty good series, to be honest with you. It was the other guys that, you wanted more from, like a Jalen Green, who, mind you, had that fantastic playing game. So, you wanted more from him. Devin Booker gave you flashes, of course, but it was a lot of Dylan Brooks. He played fabulous in this series, guys. So, but you're going against the mighty Thunder, and that's going to be a tough climb. So they were swept, guys. So that's how Oklahoma City got there. As far as the Lakers go, they go 4-2 over the number 5 seed, the Houston Rockets, guys. They end up taking the first two in LA and then moves over to game 3 in Houston. And then game 3 goes to overtime, actually. One of the few games that went into overtime in its playoffs, guys. And then the Lakers take that, going up 3-0. Then Houston gets a win on their home court to save face. So it's 3-1 going back to LA. And actually, game 5, they take it in LA, guys, leading up to a game 6. And mind you, game 5, they get Austin Reeves back, which is a welcome sight for them, guys. They needed the firepower. But then you have a game 6 in Houston, and the Lakers would not be denied. They were hitting on all cylinders in that game. So much so, they limited the Houston Rockets to 78 points when all is said and done. 96-78. With Austin Reeves, like I said, appearing in 2 games, averaging 18.5 points, which were much needed, guys. But the story for me, the elder statesman, if you will, LeBron James, at the age of 41, still schooling these boys. Over 23 points per game, over 8 assists, over 7 rebounds, guys, and nearly a steal and a half per game in this series. And you got contributions from other guys as well. Rui Hachimura had a fine game 6. And how about Marcus Smart, guys? Somebody who was left for dead, if you will, when he was sent to the Washington Wizards. But he comes to the Lakers. And I tell you what, guys, he's had a renaissance, if you will. And Marcus Smart is as tough a player as you will see. And he had a very good series, guys. Now his work is going to be cut out for him against the Thunder, but you got to take your hat off to the guy, man. He played well. And then Luke Kennard, he opened up that series. I mean, he was on fire. He started to cool a bit, but Luke Kennard is a big reason why the Lakers get out of this series. And then how about DeAndre Ayton? You know, he's a guy who can run hot and cold, but he gave you what you wanted from the center position. So you got to give him his credit there, guys. So, but LeBron James getting past the Houston Rockets. And mind you, KD, he only played in 1 game in this series, guys, due to a bruised knee. 1 game he played. So there you go with that. I'll talk about him later when I do the what's next for Houston. But when all is said and done, the Lakers get it done. JJ Redick, he coaches up the guys and gets them into the semifinals in the Western Conference. Now, your matchups coming up for this series against the Thunder and Lakers, of course, SGA up against a Austin Reeves. So you're going to have firepower for firepower, if you will. But I think it'll be more of SGA versus a Marcus Smart, which should be very interesting, guys. Very interesting indeed. So, like I said, Marcus Smart played well against the Rockets. What he does against the Thunder is a tall task. So, there you go there. And then we still have to get the word as far as Jalen Williams, his status for this series, guys. I've been keeping my ear to the pavement as far as that goes, trying to see if he'll even be ready to play in this series, guys. And from what I'm seeing, and I'm looking about, um, as of this moment, I haven't seen anything yet concerning his status, but I think they're going to need him in this Lakers series. I think you're going to need an extra body to put on LeBron, and he can provide that. So I think it will be tough for them without Jalen Williams in this series. Now, as far as Luka goes for the Lakers, the jury's still out on him. He's still considered week to week, guys. As of today, in fact, I'm looking at the report now. He won't be available for the start of the OKC series, and he's considered week to week. So he still has that grade 2 hamstring strain, guys. So um, we don't know. Could this be the Lakers just playing coy, if you will, kind of playing their cards close to their vest? Could be. It could be gamemanship. It could be that. But um, if the Lakers have any chance in this series, they need Luka Doncic. So, with that said, my prediction, I'm going. I mean, you got to give the Lakers their credit for how they got out of the Rocket series, but they're going up against a juggernaut in the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm giving them 4-1. I'd say it'll go 5 games. I think they can steal a game, but if they get Luka back, I think the dynamic can change where you can at least get another game, if not push it to 7. But without Luka, I don't think it goes beyond 5. I'd be stunned if it goes beyond 5 games. But again, my caveat is Jalen Williams. How, how many games you going to get from him in this series? I think that we have to keep an eye out on. So there you go there. All right, I'll double back to the LeBron stuff later. The next series, the number 2 seed, the San Antonio Spurs, taking on the upset bound Minnesota Timberwolves, the 6th seed, guys. How did they do it? How did both teams rather do it? Let's talk about San Antonio. They get the win over the 7th seed, the Portland Trailblazers, 4-1. Things looked a little hairy in this series, guys. San Antonio took the first game in San Antonio. And then in game 2, they lose Victor Wembanyama with a concussion that he suffered in the second quarter of that game. Doesn't return to the game. And Portland took advantage. And they stole the game in San Antonio, leaving the series 1-1. But from there, they go to Portland, and you got guys that stepped up big time in game 3. Mainly Stephon Castle, who went absolutely bonkers with 33 points, guys. So, yeah. So they take game 3 in Portland, and then game 4, they do get Wemby back, guys. And he has a monster game in his return. 27 points, 11 rebounds, 7 blocks. Good grief. And absolutely dismantled the Portland Trailblazers. And then game 5, back home in San Antonio, they leave no room for doubt, guys. Led by Wemby, 17 points, 14 rebounds, 6 blocks. And then De'Aaron Fox led the way for them, leading them to the victory, guys. So, San Antonio advances to the semis. How did Minnesota get here? Well, they upset the 3 seed, guys. The Denver Nuggets, 4-2. Game 1 goes to the Denver Nuggets at home. They take that one. You get the triple-double from the Joker. You get a monster game from Jamal Murray. And you have Aaron Gordon there. Then from there, it goes downhill, guys. Minnesota takes the game in Denver, guys. Game 2, they take that game, led by Anthony Edwards. Then game 3, heading back to Minnesota. Minnesota takes that game, guys, and wins that handily. In fact, they get an explosion from the bench from Oyo Dosunmu. Always get that mixed up. So he has a monster game coming off the bench, guys. Sealing the win for the Timberwolves. They can go up 2-1. Game 4. Oyo, he tops what he did in game 3. 43 points, guys. He drops 5 threes in the game. Absolutely sensational. Again, from off the bench, guys. And dismantles the Denver Nuggets in game 4. But game 4, it is a costly win, guys. Dante DiVincenzo, he goes down with an ACL tear. Thus, needless to say, he's out for the series, and he'll have to get surgery, unfortunately. And then Anthony Edwards, he goes down with a bone bruise on his knee. So your 2 starters goes down in this critical game 4, where they go up 3-1. Heading back to Denver. So with that, Denver gets some get back. And they went on their home floor in a decisive win. The Joker gets a triple-double there. 27 points, 16 assists, 12 rebounds for that win. And then there's game 6. Minnesota is in this situation. It's pretty much a must win. You have to win this game. Otherwise, you head back to Denver for a game 7. And what do? They take care of business. Big time, guys. 110-98. Jaden McDaniel goes crazy. 32 points, 10 rebounds, guys. I mean, he was absolutely hunting his offense in that game. And then you have Terrence Shannon Jr., who has a excellent game. 24 points for him, 6 rebounds in the game. I mean, absolute stunner, guys, to get that kind of offense in that game. And then Julius Randle, not a great shooting game, but he was solid for them. But Minnesota gets the win, guys. So they take the series 4-2. And, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Matchups. Victor Wembanyama versus Rudy Gobert. Now, Rudy Gobert, he played a heck of a series on the Joker. I mean, Joker had his games where he got his numbers, but he had to work. I mean, he had to work for his points, man. I mean, Rudy Gobert, you couldn't play him any better than Rudy Gobert did. Now, can he bring this same sort of defense against Wemby? Mind you, both are fellow Frenchmen, so you have that dynamic. So Rudy knows Wemby very well. So I will be watching this matchup. This will probably be the closest matchup I'll be watching in the playoffs for the semifinals. Then you have De'Aaron Fox versus a Terrence Shannon Jr., perhaps, or Oyo Dosunmu. who, mind you, this kid, he suffers an injury and he goes down. He ends up missing the game 6 with a calf injury. So they're looking to see how serious it is. Maybe they'll get him back. Maybe not. We'll see. That's still up in the air, guys. In fact, at my last check, I think he's a game time decision for Monday's game when they play the San Antonio Spurs. So, but I think it's critical for them to have him in the series. So you have that. Stephon Castle versus a Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels, by the way, he did a fantastic job in slowing Jamal Murray down in the series. Jamal Murray had the hot game 1, and then he kind of cooled off from there. But now he takes on Stephon Castle, who had a fine series for the Spurs. And then there's the coaching matchup. Mitch Johnson, who I think could end up being Coach of the Year when all is said and done. I don't believe they announced that as of yet. Need to double check that to make sure. But I don't believe they announced the coaches as of yet. But I think he's coach of the year. I think he ends up getting it. But yeah, that hasn't been announced as of yet. So Mitch Johnson versus Chris Finch. Chris Finch, I don't think he gets enough credit, guys. He is, in my eyes, one of the top 5 coaches in this league. The way he gets his guys ready, the way he has them competing year after year after year, man. And he does it again, guys. He does it again. Even when he loses his main players. Mind you, game 6, he was without 4 of his rotational players, if you include Kyle Anderson as well. So this is a coach that maximizes what he has. So I think the chess game between the coaches will go a long way in this series, guys. So, with that said, my prediction, I think the question is, can they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, that is? Can they beat San Antonio without Anthony Edwards? I don't think they do. I don't think they do. But, and as far as Edwards' injury goes, I know he's out indefinitely. I'm trying to see if there's anything as of late concerning that injury. Oh, he's questionable for game 1. So, seems like he's close, guys. Here's what I'll say with that in mind. If you can get at least 5 games, 4 to 5 games, where you have Anthony Edwards, I give them a puncher's chance in this series. In fact, I'm going to put myself out there. I think Minnesota takes it if Anthony Edwards gives you 5 games in this series. If he's healthy for 5 games, Minnesota wins this series, guys. Here's why. I think the Wemby Gobert dynamic, I think it's huge. I think it's huge. There was some length that he saw with the Portland Trailblazers, but this is a guy who knows him inside and out. So I think, people want to discount Rudy at times, but after what he did to the Joker, I don't limit him whatsoever. And I think he can get the advantage, at least to slow down Wemby, where he's not going crazy. I think he can do that. And if he's able to do that, I think this is a dead even series, guys. guys. So, yeah, I'm going to go out on that limb, guys. I'm going Minnesota in 7. So, uh, so there you go. All right, guys. So that is it for that. Let's talk about the teams that were knocked out and what's next on the horizon for them as far as salary cap, free agency, the works. So we'll start off with the team that was knocked off first, the Phoenix Suns. I think they need more size, guys. You need more dependability at the center position. You got Mark Williams there. Um, you can't hang your hat on this guy. You just can't. So I think you got to improve as far as size goes. There's some centers that will be out there. Now, can you get them in under your cap? That remains to be seen. So you have that. Then next season, you'll get a full season with Jalen Green, mind you, whether they keep him or not. You know, they could possibly trade him. Who knows? But you'll get a full season with him in camp. So maybe that makes the difference. We'll see. Um, yeah, so I think that's where Phoenix needs to be mindful of as far as that goes. Their salary cap, as far as what it looks like right now, $179.8 million. So they got some sizable contracts on the books already. As far as free agents go, you have a qualifying offer with Mark Williams at 8.7 million. I think they exercise it. But I tell you what, I think in the draft, they're looking to draft the big. I think they're looking to draft a big and try and get one and possibly in free agency. But again, you got a lot of money under that cap already to get a guy. I don't know. That's going to be tricky. Amir Coffey, he's a straight up free agent at 2.8 million. Cole Anthony, remember they got him 2.6 million. Now these are two names that I'll be interested to see what happens with them. Colin Gillespie, who had a fantastic season, guys, and he's going to cash in big time in free agency. And then Jordan Goodwin, who also had a nice season for them when Jalen Green was out. These guys stepped up. So Goodwin at 2.3 million. I think both guys get paid big time this offseason. So will it be with Phoenix? I don't know. They may have priced themselves out as far as that goes, and there's teams starving for guard help. So I would keep an eye out on those two guys when it comes to off season. I think they're going to be in demand. So there you go. All right, and then we'll talk about what's next for the Portland Trailblazers. Now we need to stop and talk about this owner, this cheapskate owner for the Portland Trailblazers. I mean, it's an absolute disgrace how this owner, Tom Dundon, he's the he as of April of this year, he's now the new owner of the Portland Trailblazers. Let me tell you what this guy did. Absolutely criminal. First of all, he wants to lowball Coach Tiago Splitter, who, like I said when I did the preview of the first round, what he did to get these guys at that 7th seed has to be applauded. Given the turmoil going into this season with the head coach Chauncey Billup being swept up in that gambling probe, this team had every excuse to go in the tank. They didn't do that. In fact, they became a 7 seed, playing in the play-in and getting that 7 seed, guys. So I think a tremendous amount of credit goes to Tiago Splitter. But you got this guy now who wants to play him cheap. Unbelievable. So you have that. Also, this guy, he wants his players checking out of the hotel and not being assessed late charges for checking out of a hotel. Are you serious? And if that's not enough, for games 3 and 4, you know how these arenas, they'll have the T-shirts, for laying on the seats for the fans, for them to wear, uh, for example, the Thunder, they'll have a blue out where they have blue T-shirts waiting for the fans, and they're all wearing them. Not this guy. He said, I'm not wasting money on this. And he didn't do it. So it's appalling. It's disgraceful. He doesn't care. He could care less. He said he don't care what others think about him being cheap. He doesn't care one iota. And here's my thing, though. If you're going to be this way, maybe you shouldn't be an owner in the NBA. Maybe you shouldn't be that. So it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, to say the least. So there's that. And then you're going to lose a good coach in Tiago Splitter. I think he'll be insulted by what you're offering him as far as taking the head coaching job. And then, okay, let's say if things fall out and you can't bring him back as the coach. Who do you bring in? With your reputation now of being a cheapskate, who do you bring in? So you're starting off on the wrong foot as an owner in my eyes. So that's my rant on it. But nonetheless, what to do with Coach Splitter? I say you bring him back. I say you bring him back. You don't lowball the guy. Give him what he deserves. And then also you have Damian Lillard coming back. So you'll have a situation where Damian Lillard is back. Will he be the Damian of old? Will it be Dame time? Who's coming back to you? We'll see, but he'll be back, and that's a valuable piece to have for a team that seems like it's on the come up, guys. You had guys who stepped up. You had Dene Avaja, who had a fantastic season. You also had Tamani Kamara, who's played well. Scoot Henderson got hot late. You still have a guy like Drew Holiday there, a savvy veteran. You still on the hook for Jeremy Grant. You still have him. So this is the team on the rise. Their salary cap, $171.5 million. Your free agency, DeAndre Ayton money will fall off the books. He was owed $25.5 million, so that falls off the books, so that's good. Robert Williams III, do you bring him back? The money he made last year, $13.2 million. Matthias Tybalt, $11.5 million, so that's money that you can use. And then Blake Wesley at $2.3 million. So you have some money to play with, guys. So, and again, you're bringing back Damian Lillard. A piece here, a piece there, and you could be still in the running, guys. Maybe even creep up to the top 6 in the West. Who knows? Especially you're bringing back a Dame Lillard to add to what you did already. So, But it all depends on the situation with the coach. So there you go there. All right, so we'll leave that alone. What's next for the Denver Nuggets? Now, for all intents purposes, the front office is saying that Coach David Adelman, they say he's safe as of this moment, guys. You know, they were a 3 seed who got knocked out in the first round, but for all intents and purposes, he's safe for the moment. And the players are even standing by him saying that, oh, it's not his fault that, what happened to us. But losing Aaron Gordon early in that series definitely hurt their chances because he's next to the Joker. He's the next legitimate big you got. And when you lost him, I understand, I get it. You have Jonas Valanciunas, but he's a center. He can't play the 4. So, and then Aaron Gordon again with the hamstrings. I was listening to Nightcap, and they were talking about him with the hamstring and how this is such a pattern with him. So maybe it's something he needs to look into. But yeah, he's a valued piece on this squad and a piece you need. So there you go there. Now, in terms of the Joker, he has 1 year left with a player option, guys. He'll make $59 million next year, 62.8 on that player option. Now, I was listening to the guys on road tripping. Of course, Kendrick Perkins and Channing Frye. And they were talking about, the Joker and his place among the immortal centers. And they said he's not top 5. And I got to be honest with you. I don't think they're far off from that. Because you're not taking him over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You're not doing that. You're not taking him over a Shaquille O'Neal. You're not taking him over Hakeem Olajuwon. You're not taking him over Wilt Chamberlain. You're not taking him over Bill Russell. You're not taking him over Moses Malone. So I named you 6 centers that you can't take over, can't take the Joker over. So I don't think they're off base. Not at all. So, yeah. So I don't think they're off in the least. And the thing with him is he's a liability on defense. So I understand. I get it. For all he produces, I said he'll be the MVP of the league when the votes come in. And now, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe not. But yeah, so they're going to have to make a decision with him. For all intents and purposes, everybody's saying the right things. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, as far as, and then I hear rumblings now about Jamal Murray, maybe, the bloom is off the rose with him. He's owed $160 million for the next 3 seasons. So that's a lot of money, guys. For a guy who he's had his share of injuries, definitely hamstrings within his time. So do you move off of that money? Do you move him elsewhere? And then what do you bring back? So we'll see there. Cam Johnson, are they done with him? I understand. I get it. He had a very good game 6 for them, but to me, kind of too little too late. So do they move on from him? We'll see. Now, as far as your free agents goes, salary cap, $212 million. So they're amongst the top 10 as far as salary goes. Your free agents, Perry Watson, he has a qualifying offer at $6.5 million. So I think they exercise that. Tim Hardaway Jr. at 3.6 million. I I don't know if they bring him back. He might have priced himself out because remember he was in the running for sixth man of the year. So there's that. Bruce Brown, I think you end up bringing him back. He seems to be a guy who's a nugget. Seems like he gets more production with the Nuggets than anywhere else. So I think you bring him back. Tim Hardaway Jr., I think he's on the move. So the Nuggets, with a lot to think about in the offseason. And then the last team, what's next for the Houston Rockets? Do they run it back this time with a healthy Fred VanVleet? Because remember, they never replaced VanVleet this season. They never brought in a point guard. Even when he went down initially, I said go after Russell Westbrook. That fell on deaf ears. They never brought in a point guard. I think that came back to bite them. So there's that. And then you have KD. KD is owed nearly 44 million for next season, and then he has a player option at 46 the following season. Do you bring back Kevin Durant? I know people think that's kind of an aberration to say that, but the guy only played one game in that first round. So there's that. And then there's the issue. I didn't really bring it up, but it was kind of bubbling under the surface. Him with the burner account, bashing his teammates. So supposedly it was proven that it was his burner account or whatever. Do you bring him back in the midst of all that? Do you bring him back? That's a legitimate question, guys. So I don't know what you do in that regard. But it would seem like you would bring him back. But, he's got issues with his knees. So it's a gamble all the way around. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. Their salary cap, 185.6 million that they have on the books. As far as free agency goes, Fred VanVleet has a player option at 25 million. I think he exercises that. Tyree Eason has a qualifying offer of 8 million. I think that possibly gets exercised. Jeff Green at 3.6, I think, he's seen his better days. So Jeff Green, I think he'll end up having him on the coaching staff. He's that kind of guy. Josh Okogie at 3 million, Aaron Holiday at 3 million, and then Jay Sean Tate at 2.6 million. So these are guys who fill your bench. What they will get on the open market, we'll see. But Houston Rockets, we'll see what happens. I think there'll be a shakeup. I would be stunned. I would not be stunned if Kevin Durant is part of that shakeup. I'm just putting it out there. So there you go. All right, guys. So that is it for as far as the playoff talk goes. I did want to try and get into LeBron stuff, but I definitely want to hit this topic. Draymond Green. This guy, man. Of course, Golden State season is over. As you know, Steve Kerr, his contract ran out. So now they're in the midst of trying to figure out what's going to happen with Steve Kerr. Is he coming back? Is he not? So one of his prized players in Draymond Green, listen to what he had to say about his coach. When I heard this, I absolutely fell out of my chair. I mean, you talk about biting the hand that feeds you. Are you kidding me? Just listen to this. Just listen to this. Where is it at? Okay. Okay, guys. Brace yourself because I had to. When you hear this, Oh, sorry, guys. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I gotta turn up the volume. Here's Draymond Green on his podcast. All of those things, like, as much as he's done for me in basketball, a part of me thinks he's hindered me in my career and what I could have become. But what he's also helped me become. Like, you gotta take the good with the bad. You know, when I think of who I was offensively as a player and who I became, part of it is due to him. Hold that against him. I'm forever grateful that he still put me in a position to be successful and that I could become Draymond Green despite the offensive role on our team. So when KD came from 2016 on, I have not had a play in our playbook. And just being a better man. Like, not a single play that we run for me in our playbook. 2016. You think that would hinder someone as an offensive player? Of course. So at times I go home and I think about my career and I'm happy as hell of what I've been able to do. But at times, sometimes I sit there and think, what could I really have been if I stayed true to my game and what I really was? But that just wasn't what was in the cards for me. So I don't sit and be like, oh man, like, I fucking hate Steve because of that. No. It's one of my gripes. Yeah, I heard enough. So let me get this straight, Draymond. You credit Steve, the coach, Steve Kerr. You credit him for what he's done for you, but you have a gripe about him not running plays for you since 2016? Draymond, wake up and smell the coffee. Steph Curry, number one. Probably 1A when they brought him was Kevin Durant. Your number two guy, Klay Thompson. Then somewhere in there, you're somewhere in there. You weren't going above these guys. Those are three guys that they're going to run the offense through. Full stop. So Draymond, what are you even talking about? And then also, Draymond, why would that stop you from working on your game? You should still work on your game, even if they're running it through these three guys. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Draymond, come on, man. You sound so ungrateful, man. As much as Steve Kerr has backed you up, for you to get on your podcast and talk about the man like that, and you know his contract ran out, so they're trying to figure out what to do with him. And then you're going to go and say stuff like this? This doesn't help his case. Oh, that you sound so ungrateful. You do. You do. And I'm sure if they go and ask Coach Kerr about this, he'll take the high road because he always takes the high road when it comes to you. But you, on the other hand, you don't extend that same courtesy to him. I was flabbergasted when I heard that sound. I could not believe it. But again, Draymond, instead of jumping on your podcast, which you did throughout the season, you know that time you take to curate a podcast is the time you could be in the gym working on your jump shot. Your jump shot was suspect, man. It came and it went. It wasn't consistent. So you need to stop, man. This is beyond the pale. Beyond the pale, Draymond. How dare you? How dare you throw your coach under the bus like that? But he gets away with stuff like this. The media, give him a pass. I ain't hear inside the NBA, unless I missed it. I didn't hear them talk about this. I know Stephen A. talked about it. He said he's wrong. And, Kenny Smith did address it when he was on First Take. I don't believe he addressed it on Inside the NBA. I could be wrong now. But Draymond, that was bad. That sound was bad. That was bad. So, man, he's something else. So I'm gonna leave it alone. But Draymond, you are your own worst enemy, man. You should have been working on your game instead of trying to build this media. Um, try to be this giant in media. You could have been working on your game, but no. You gotta get on your podcast. You gotta say this. You gotta say that. Week in, week out. Take it from somebody who does a podcast. I know the time it takes to put all this stuff together. So that time could have been used with you working on your offensive game for the time where you have to be called upon for your offense. So there you have it. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it alone. But I thank you for listening as always, guys. All Things Basketball with GD.com is the website. There you'll find my clips, my full episodes, also my YouTube page. I have that going as well, guys. So you can check me there. All the podcast platforms, however you consume your podcast, I'm there, guys. And then also donate. On the website, got 3 buttons: PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, Spotify, Donate. In the scroll, you'll see my Cash App, $GD that sports dude, $GD that sports dude. Email the show, all things basketball GD at outlook.com. And then, guys, I have a surprise for you for my Eastern Conference Semifinals preview. Looks like I'm going to have a guest on, so it'll be a surprise. So you'll see when I put the episode out. I've already been in the works with this person, and seems like they're ready to go. So I'll have that for you very soon because, in fact, the Knicks will be playing on Monday, so I'm going to have that for you just in time for the game. So there you go. Thank you for listening as always, guys. Your listenership is so important to this show. Social media, TikTok, Instagram, some Facebook, some Blue Sky. That's it. Thank you for listening as always, guys. Your listenership, again, is so important to this show. And we'll talk soon. Take care.